Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are here in Vegas with Alexis Evans.
Hey!
We just did a dance video, 3 dance videos actually, so that is the way we look right now. But that is why we look the way we look right now, so don't judge. We just worked hard. But yeah, we're here to talk with this beautiful woman here. So Alexis, like I said, we are in Vegas and you live here now. So let's go to your backstory, like when you started dancing, how you got into dancing, and how you made it out here for your career.
Yeah, buckle up.
I love it.
I started dancing in a studio. So I started dancing when I was 2 years old, super young. My cousins are older than me and they dance, and so I saw them doing it. So I was like, obviously, I'm going to be on the path. So I did that for my entire adolescent life. And then I danced in the Palms team or high school dance team. And then took that into college. Actually, the funny thing is I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to go straight to LA after I graduated from high school. And my mom secretly applied me to college. And I would just remember being in my room one day, watching TV, and she comes up with all this paperwork and a package from something, and I was like, what is this? And she goes, well, it looks like you made it into college. And I was like, I didn't apply
without my knowledge.
Yes.
She really wanted you to go.
She did. And now I get it, and now I'm glad that happened. Because I feel like I learned so much more about myself and matured and was became more of a social being rather than just into dance only. So so I'm glad I went to school now. So I went to college. I started off on the dance team at Colorado Mesa University, and then after 2 years of that, I just dove straight into being a dance major. Which was a lot of work because you have to do your gen eds, plus you have to take your specific dance classes on top of that. Plus, which is also dance history, history of music, and choreography, and then actual dance classes, which is jazz, ballet, tap, and then you have rehearsals on top of that because we have shows. So that was a crazy time, but it really taught me how to manage my time, and
that's good. Which is what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the professional work, because if you don't learn that in college, you're kind of just thrown into the mix, and you either sink or swim.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. So then after I graduated from college, I actually I danced for Cleo Parker Robinson Dance Ensemble in Colorado, which is a modern company. I danced for them for a year, and then I had a devastating knee injury, and I had to get reconstructive knee surgery on my left knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus.
Ooh, not the meniscus.
Yeah, the whole thing. She blew up.
She went down.
She went down. She was goodbye. She was girl. She said 20 years of you dancing like this, no more.
She's you're in a contemporary modern company.
Yeah.
And here you go.
And here you go. Here's your gift from me. Yeah. So I took a year, almost more than a year off from dance and just focused on physical therapy after my surgery, which was really hard. And I always talk about how I went through an identity crisis because it's my first time since I was 2 years old that I wasn't dancing. Yeah. So I was literally, who am I?
So scary.
Yeah. So I went through that, and I could have very much so just been I'm just not going to dance again.
Yeah.
My doctors were very much we don't know. You'll have to teach yourself to walk again. We don't know if you'll be able to run ever again. And they were but it's completely up to you and how seriously you take your physical therapy. If you'll be able to get back to dance. So I took it very seriously.
Okay, good.
Didn't dance for a year. But in the middle of that year, I moved to LA.
You're I am not walking, but I'm going right now.
I
going out there.
moved to LA with my brace on from my ankle to and I was we're just gonna make this work.
I love that.
Because
I love that.
I'm just gonna put myself in this situation where I have to recover because I'm already living out here.
Yeah.
So the last 6 months of my recovery, I was in LA, and my very first dance class back from being injured was at ML. With, I don't even know who it was. I can't remember who was teaching the class, but it was a jazz funk class, and I was I think I can handle this.
Yes, get it.
And then it just went on from there. So then I lived in LA for 10 years, did the whole industry thing, which and then I was on the Kings, which is an NBA team in Sacramento. Did that for a season, and then I moved to Vegas in September, and I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That is a story.
It's a story to have.
That's a story. You're like, that's not even the full
I was going to say, I skipped a lot. Those 10 years I blew through.
Oh, my God. Okay, so when did you try out for the Kings?
So the Kings, this is also a funny story. My life is just full of funny stories.
Tell me. I love funny.
I love funny.
If you know me, you know I'm goofy and I love funny.
So I was in 2000. I mean, it was just last year. So it was 2022.
Okay.
Maybe like the spring of 2022.
Okay.
I was living in Pasadena, and I was just about to start my first semester of grad school at Cal State Long Beach.
Okay.
And I was like kind of in the middle, like that's kind of like still like COVID was still kind of lingering around,
yes.
like things still weren't kind of like all the way open yet in LA.
Yes.
And so I was kind of like trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And so when I was in school, I was like, maybe I'll apply to be the dance team coach at LMU, Loyola Marymount University, which is like in LA.
Okay.
And so I applied to do it, and they took me through like all these interview processes. And sorry, I keep hitting your knee, by the way.
You're fine. I'm like in your space. I'm like, tell me more.
I'm like, sorry. So I was going through all these interview processes with them, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work out.
Okay.
And also, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be on that side of things yet in the dance world.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I wanted to like take that
Transition
step
into
over.
that,
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, I don't know. So what happened was I ended my first semester at school. I was still in interviews with them, with LMU. And my friend, who's actually a Lakers girl, we were in school together, and she was like going through the whole Lakers auditions and everything, and she made it. And she was like, you know, you should really audition for NBA, because I had auditioned for NFL for like 6 years.
Okay.
And never made a team. I was in finals for like 4 different teams for that entire time and never made a team. And I kind of like gave up on that dream of being in like a pro dance space. And so I was like, I don't know. But she kind of like sparked another like interest in it for me. And she was like, you should really think about just give it a whirl. And so I showed her like the Kings auditions, and she was like, and it was a virtual audition. Like the first part of it was virtual.
Easy.
Like, yeah. And so she was like, just do it. Like, who cares? Like, you know. And I was like, okay. So I submitted for it and everything. And then after my semester was over, I was going to go to Colorado on vacation with my boyfriend at the time. Okay. And so I had to do all these Zoom interviews for LMU while I was on vacation. And I was still kind of in the running for Kings at the same time.
Oh my gosh, so much.
So much. And so I went to Colorado, and I brought all my audition stuff for the Kings, because if I had to go for finals, I was going to have to go while we were on vacation. Yeah. And so I fully disclosed that to my boyfriend at the time. I was like, just so you know, I might have to fly out for a few days, but I'll come back.
I have to go try and book this.
Yeah. And then I'll be back to finish our vacation. So,
life of a dancer.
Yeah. So during my interviews with LMU, we were in Colorado, and they ended up turning me down. And then literally the next day, I got an email from the Kings being like, oh, you made finals. We'd love to see you for our in-person audition. It's in like 4 days,
That's
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So then, of course, I was like immediately booking my flight, getting all that together. And so I had all my stuff. I brought all my audition stuff, and I flew out, and I flew out. Sorry, this is going to be a long story. No, I'm going to cut it down. I flew out from Colorado. I was supposed to have a connecting flight in Phoenix. Okay. And my connecting flight in was late, so then I missed my flight out of Phoenix. No. So it was 10 p.m. in Phoenix, and the audition was the next morning at 10 a.m. in Sacramento. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. So I went up to the counter, and I was like, okay, I just need a ticket back to Colorado. Like, I'm not going to get to where I need to go. And so I emailed the coach, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, this happened. I'm in Phoenix. No. There's no way I'm going to get there, right? And never, because it was 10 p.m. the night before an audition. Yeah, never in my wildest dreams would I ever think she would even reply back, let alone reply back that night. Mm-hmm. But within 10 minutes, she replied to me, and she was like, what time can you get here tomorrow? And I was like,
let me check.
I already had my ticket for Colorado to go back.
And now
now I'm like, I was, so the airlines were taking me to my hotel to sleep in Phoenix that night.
Okay.
And so I'm on this shuttle, and I call my mom, and I was like, Mom, I need your help. She said I can still go.
Mom to the rescue.
Can you call Southwest? Like, I don't know, something help me. So,
no.
So we figured it out. I probably spent so much money
just to switch your flight.
Switch everything out. And so I emailed her back, and I was like, I think I can get there by like 1 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
And I didn't cancel my hotel in Sacramento yet. That was still there. So that was good.
Perfect.
And so the coach, her name's Christina, she was like, okay, I'll let the judges know what's going on. And I was like, okay.
So communication.
Literally 11 p.m. the night before. I was like,
communication is key.
Yes. So just so you know, communication.
There's a tip for you.
Don't just take the ticket back home. Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I ended up making and I actually found an earlier flight. So I got into SAC at 7 a.m.
Perfect.
Got to my hotel, took a shower, got dressed, and I got there by 10. Like 2 minutes
On,
before
like, no
10.
sleep?
Yeah, zero sleep. Zero sleep. 2 minutes before 10, I walk in. I'm like, okay, let's do this.
That's the adrenaline.
Crazy.
There's the caffeine spike there.
Yes.
We're just going to do it.
Just do it. And actually,
my
you know what?
God.
I didn't have any coffee. I just went for it. I was just on this crazy high.
On a high, yeah.
We learned a hip hop dance. I don't know how I made it through that cut, but I did. And then
Because you're amazing. That's why.
we did across the floor. They made a cut. Did a hip hop dance. They made a cut. And then we learned jazz, which is my thing. And so I was like, we got this.
Yes. Oh.
We got this in the bag.
You're like, all of that was for good reason.
And then, so they tell you, too, to bring your interview outfit to that day.
Okay. Oh, so
Grab
they
an
do an
interview outfit. Yeah, they do an interview. And they do that for every pro dance audition because you're representing a huge organization. So they have to make sure you can speak.
Yeah. Can you talk?
Can you talk? And the funny thing is, because, like, I forgot to bring underwear. Because I, like, in my little audition wear for pro dance, I have to wear tights. You have to wear tights and, like, little shorts.
Right.
I never wore underwear.
Yeah. You're like, just go.
like, why?
Just go,
And then, so under my dress, I was like,
She's missing something.
So luckily I brought some extra spandex like shorts just in case I needed them for something. Luckily I did need them for something. And so I put them underneath my dress. And I did the whole interview like that. And then they told us to put our audition wear back on. And then we had to do our jazz dance that we learned with the people. So they already picked a team, and they were recruiting more people to be on the team.
Okay.
So the team that was already picked like a month in advance came in.
Okay.
And then they had us, the remaining 4 people, dance with them to make sure that we fit. And then at the end, I was just kind of like, I don't know, like, who knows if I'm literally, this is like 13 hours of just dancing, interviewing.
Am I even here?
Where
mentally?
am I? And so I'm like, I don't even know. I'm out of it.
Yes.
And so they call us all out, and they're like, they call all 4 of our numbers up. And I'm like, are we all getting cut?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what?
Is this the reverse psychology thing where we think we're getting it?
Because you don't know if, like, if when your numbers get cut, if that's a thank you, have a good day.
Right.
Or if it's a you made it.
Right.
So we're just standing there, and they're like, and the next thing we need you guys to do is go get measurements because you made the team. And we were like,
that's amazing.
So then I'm like, I'm on an NBA team.
That's amazing.
It was insane.
Oh, that story.
Yeah. And then I flew back to Colorado the next day, and I was like,
vacation.
I literally.
So this just happened.
Yeah. Hi, I'm an NBA dancer now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and now I have to move to Sacramento. So.
Oh my God. So after that, how long did you have to move from
2
Pasadena?
weeks.
2 weeks.
Not even, I mean, yes, but like, so they even started practice the next week. And I told the coach, I was like, I live in LA.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, I got to,
Yeah.
And she goes, I get it. Like, I knew like people that don't live here, we're going to have to like take some time.
Yep.
She was like, so we'll send you what we're doing in practice.
Okay.
So just learn it on your own. And then when you move up here in 2 weeks, then you'll be good.
Get right to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Oh
know.
my God.
I
And
know.
did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, I did. So, I mean, because it had been such a buildup.
Right.
I had auditioned for pro teams for 6 years.
Right.
And I didn't take it for granted.
Right.
And it might be a mature thing. It might be because I am an older, mature dancer, whereas I was dancing with a lot of girls that were younger than me. And I think that they weren't ready to realize the moment, like what they were actually doing and how hard it actually is to get on a pro team. And so I was realizing every single second of it. I definitely took it all in, and
that's great.
The Kings had a good season, so I did enjoy it.
We were talking about how before Marcos and I, if you know Marcos and I, we lived in Sacramento during COVID, and we were stuck there during COVID. And Alexis was like, that was when the team was not good. Sorry, Kings, but
you're good now, so you can hear it.
Yeah, you're good now.
It's not like it's a fact, like something you didn't know. Everyone knew.
Yeah, backstory. We were talking about that before this video, but that is, I'm so happy that you enjoyed that. I feel like do you feel like that's such a different world versus like the LA professional world and like the New York professional world?
1000%. It takes a completely different brain, like mindset, because you're contracted for the year.
Yeah.
And you're representing this organization that needs you to speak well about them to the city, to the community. And you're going to hospitals. You're going to all these things for like community events and representing the brand, the organization. So that plus just the time commitment is wild, which is so different. I think the NBA is so different than any other sport because they have 42 home games.
Wow.
In a season, and you are there for every single game.
Do you travel with them too?
You don't travel with them, which is good because then you would have 84 games in a season.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So 42 was enough for us.
Yeah.
The schedule's never the same. Like with football, it's always Sunday that you have a game.
Right.
For NBA, it's maybe Tuesday, maybe it's a Thursday, maybe next week it's Wednesday, Friday, and maybe it's a Sunday. So you don't ever know.
Wow.
And then
I didn't know it would be that like inconsistent.
Very inconsistent. And a lot of it has to do with the TV programming and where they schedule things. We had 2 practices a week. So that was standard. Even when we had games, we had to move the practices around the games because the other thing with the organization is they don't like you to do the same dance twice.
Okay.
So they're like, hi, I learned 42 dances.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
What? Okay.
And I think something also that I always talk about with the NBA is that things change on a dime so fast.
Yeah.
Like things change quickly. Like you could be doing one thing, you're running out to the court, and they're like, no, do plan A, and you're like halfway running. Literally, plan A. Okay. Or like you learn something the day before, and they're like, go do it, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Is this?
You're like,
so,
and turn on.
Literally turn on because all of a sudden you're in front of 14,000 people. You're in a small arena, and they're all like,
all the ice,
watching your every move.
Don't mess up.
Plus, like, I mean, for me too, because like I wasn't sure if I want to be on the team again next year. But if you do want to be on the team the next year, your brain immediately goes to this entire year. I'm auditioning for the next season. So not only am I trying to get through this season, but if you're a smart dancer, you're auditioning.
Which is what we're talking about today.
If you're a smart dancer, you're auditioning the whole season for the next season. So there's just like this added pressure trying to keep your spot because you never know. Pro dance is crazy.
Stuff can, like you just said, stuff can switch.
In a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Oh my gosh. That is like... I didn't know that side. Like, I mean, I just never had the desire to do that. But I could tell it definitely takes a different mentality going into it. For sure. Like, and I never thought of it that way either. Like, dang, like it would take, like, it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different world beyond professional LA, professional New York, professional Vegas. So, but, okay, so you did the Kings, and then you moved out here in September.
And then I moved to Vegas. Yeah.
So what brought you here?
I think, like, a few things. I used to come out here often, like all the time, actually. I dated somebody who lived out here when I first moved to LA. So then I was like back and forth. And I like fell in love with it in Vegas. And I just kind of like always had this thought like that I would end up out here somehow, some way. Yeah. At some point in my career. And it just kind of made sense after the NBA season was over for me to like make my way out this way. And I think it's more my style of dance. I think something I struggled always with in LA was that I'm more of a classic jazz dancer. I had a ton of technique growing up.
Yeah.
And so that was hard for me to feel successful in LA with that background.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you're kind of the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, like I try to go the hip hop route, or at least like dabble in it.
Yeah.
So I like
Tap your
had
foot in
some,
it.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I wasn't completely opposite. And then honestly, I feel like it kind of didn't do me justice at all. Like I feel like I shouldn't have even tried. I should have just stuck to my guns and like did what I knew what I was good at. Anyways, moving forward. So we're here in Vegas. I could talk about that for hours. So let me just move on.
Next video.
Yeah. We'll come back to that one. Put a bookmark in it. We'll be back.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. But here in Vegas, I think like the style is more my style, basically.
Oh, good.
More my jazz style, more old fashioned, like classic, clean movement, like nothing crazy jazz technique.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I felt comfortable coming into this space and feeling like, you know what, I actually feel like I could be successful.
That's great.
Out here.
That's
so,
great.
yeah.
Wow. That's so great. And you like, how does it compare living out here to living in LA? With them being like two dance industries. I mean, they're both different.
So different.
For sure different. So like, how do you compare the two?
I mean, there's so many things. I think out here, it's not as much film, obviously. But you know what? That's about to change because of the new Sony movie studios that are being built out here.
What?
Yes. So Mark Wahlberg moved out here a few years ago.
Okay.
And ever since he moved out here, he's been trying to push making this like Hollywood. Basically.
Really?
Yes. So it's actually this huge deal because it just got okayed by city council for actually in Summerlin for them to build this huge Sony movie studio.
What?
Out here.
Wow.
It'll be a few years because they're building from the ground up. But yeah, they just announced it last week.
Oh.
So I don't know.
But that's really cool, though, because I feel like LA is just so, like, it's just so over, like, stimulated in that and just so overpopulated with that. It's just, like, I feel like having that out here would just change the game a little bit out here, too.
Totally.
Like, dang, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's exciting. Like people are excited, but people are also kind of like, I don't want
it takes away from Vegas.
Yeah,
like Vegas is Vegas
for sure. And I think it'll always be Vegas, though.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think it'll just add.
Yeah.
And I think for performers, I think it'll just give us more jobs. To be honest,
which is the best thing.
Yeah,
the best thing because even out in LA, there's just not jobs.
Not enough jobs for the amount of dancers that are out there
and that are upcoming.
Yeah.
And wanting to have a career in the industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also what I'm really excited about is because as a dancer that's getting older, which was like hard for me to like put my brain in.
Yeah.
It's easier out here to continue your dance career as a performer as you get older. Like I have done so many gigs with women that have kids, that are moms, that are married, that are in their 40s. And they look amazing. Yeah. And they're making their living off of gigs and shows. Yeah. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
They can do it. And Vegas welcomes it.
I love that.
Yeah. And so like for me, I'm like, how great is that? Because like in LA, I'm like, man, my window is short.
Yep.
It is a small window.
Yep.
I only have this amount of time to get what I want to do done out here before I'm basically exiled because I'm a grandma.
By all of that, by all of the little ones that are coming up for sure.
Yeah.
And they're great. The little ones that are coming up are so talented.
So talented.
But I totally understand what you're saying. Like, but that's amazing though.
Yeah.
That you feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy we're talking about this because I never got this insight from anybody. Like, I should talk to you in August. Like, dang it, you're kicking my booty.
Vegas is always gonna be here.
Yes, that was the thing. Like when Marcus and I were talking about it, like he's like, Vegas will always be there.
Vegas will always
be there. It's not going anywhere.
And Vegas loves it's old Vegas. Like,
Yes.
I don't really see it changing
Yes.
that much. Like, they're always going to want showgirls. They're always going to want classic beauty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, because that's what Vegas is known for.
Yeah.
So they're not going to steer away from that.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So your plan moving forward,
Mhm.
do you, like, what do you see for yourself?
Well, I mean, my goal would be to be on a show contract.
Okay.
That would be my goal.
And you're going to get it? It's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm putting
We're
it into the universe.
We're manifesting.
Yeah,
We're manifesting right now in Summerlin. We
Right.
are manifesting.
It's Summerlin. It's Summerlin.
Summerlin all the way to Henderson to where you live. Like, we are manifesting
Which
it.
is a trek, but it's okay. But yeah, I think that that would be ideal. That would be the goal.
Okay.
And what I'm finding because like, as I'm doing gigs and meeting dancers out here, I feel like it kind of takes about a year or so to get your first contract.
Okay.
But what's really great about the community in Vegas is everyone's really able to help, or willing to help is what I'm trying to say.
That.
Willing to help. Like, the minute I came out here, I had like a really good gig with F1 already happening.
Okay.
So I was like, great, like I'm gonna meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
I knew 2 people that already lived out here from judging, and so immediately when I made the decision to move to Vegas, I told them, and then they sent me like, oh, submit to this. So
That's
they were
amazing.
immediately
Here
trying
you
to
go.
help me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And I was like, oh, that's so nice. So they're my friends. Of course they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But
Which is
then
like, unfortunately, what you don't get in LA.
I say that all the time.
What you don't get in LA. Like,
do
even
not get
sometimes
that.
your agent doesn't do that.
No.
For you. Like, why?
And
why
it's
are you
like-
my agent?
Which is another. We'll bookmark that
That's
one.
another video.
We'll bookmark that one too. We'll be back for that one.
We'll be back, yeah. Part 2.
Part a million. But yeah, and I say that all the time because Vegas dancers are like, oh, how is it like in LA? Because a lot of dancers, which I didn't realize, because I did it opposite. I went to LA and then came to Vegas, but a lot of dancers go Vegas first, then LA.
Oh.
And so they're like asking me like, oh, what's LA like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you the truth.
But you have to. You can't
Yeah.
sugarcoat it. There's
You
just
cannot.
no way of like filtering
No.
that industry.
You
Like,
cannot.
you
And
can't.
so I'm going to tell, yeah, so I do tell them the truth. But I always say, like, it's not like this.
Yeah.
People are not going to help you.
yeah,
You're going to have to fight your way through things.
you are on your own.
You're on your own. You're
Yeah.
clawing your way through
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah.
But here it's not like that, luckily. And
That's
people are so willing to help. And also what I've been finding out, too, is that a lot of dancers work at, like, 2 or 3 shows at the same
That's
time.
what I hear too, where
Yeah.
it's like show, rest, show, and it's
They're like,
you're here, you're there, you're
yeah,
there.
or like they do a show, like they do like 3 shows at this one show per week, and then they do 2 other shows for a separate company a week, and then they swing in for like a separate show, and then after their shows they gig all night. Yeah, they'll like, I like go to this gig, like I just woke up from a nap so that I could last through this entire gig.
Yeah.
And this girl comes in, and I'm like, hey, girl. And she's like, hey. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, and she like has her show makeup still on. She just got done with Vegas the show.
Oh my God. I
Made it from Vegas the show to this gig at Mandalay Bay. And we're about to go until 2 a.m. And I'm like, I just woke up from my little
You're like a little snoozy snooze.
Yeah. And she's like, I just got done with my show. I'm about to go gig. They're crazy. They can, here's the thing.
They hustle.
They can hustle, but they're able to make a living
Yeah.
off of just doing like 1-2 shows a week. Not shows, like not one individual show, but like
2 different.
2 different
yeah.
shows a week plus gig at night, and then they can buy a house. I know.
Wow.
It's
not in LA.
Not in LA. I would
Not in
never in
LA.
a million years even think I could buy a house in LA.
No.
Never.
No. Good luck.
A yard? What's that?
Good luck. What's that?
Laundry in my unit? What's that?
AC?
AC.
Oh my
AC
God.
that's not a swamp cooler that's 40 years old. What's that?
Not the swamp cooler talk. We all went through the swamp cooler. Oh my God. Well, that is such great insight.
I just got a microwave. Microwave. When I moved to Vegas.
You're like, yay, my meals can be faster.
But it's like I was so used to not using using a microwave, so I forget I even have it.
Yeah, you're like, it's like places where you don't have a dishwasher, and it's then you move in, you're like, this is luxurious. I forget about these appliances.
Oh my God. Just doing my laundry in my own apartment.
Heaven.
I actually
You don't
love
have to
doing
go to
laundry.
a laundromat. I love putting your clothes.
Girl, I was so over it. When I lived in Burbank, I paid someone to take my laundry somewhere, do it, and bring it back to me folded.
You're like, I will pay you.
I will pay you $1,000.
Oh my God. You have to be. You have to love that. You have to love that. But I am so happy that you are happy here, though.
Yeah. Yes, I am. And I think like my dad recently was like, you should start thinking about settling down. And like at first I was like, yeah.
You're like, thanks, Dad. What's your definition of settling down?
I know. I was like, send me your definition on this.
Oh my God.
He's already come to terms he'll probably never have grandchildren. So he's like,
Dad, I'm living my best life.
Yeah. Because I'm an only child.
Don't bother me.
So
I know that.
Yeah, I'm an only child, and so he's like, okay, I already know I'm probably never gonna have grandchildren, but you can at least settle it. Because I was like in LA, I was like bopping around. I was like, I lived in Studio City, I lived in Burbank, Pasadena, and Glendale. I was all over the place.
Yeah.
And then I moved up to SAC, and then I moved to Vegas. He was like, okay, can we find home? Can we find solid ground?
Yeah. You're like, Dad, I am a performer. I am entertainer. This is the life. This is the life I chose.
I'm just an artist.
Yes, I'm just trying to live my best life. But I'm so happy for you. I do want to say that, like, I mean, obviously, like Marcos and I, we've followed you your entire journey.
So
we like watch you on social, but we're like, she is absolutely killing it. Like LA to SAC to now to Vegas. Like, you are literally doing your own path and not following what everybody else is doing, which is what I was telling you. Like,
hard.
I am trying to preach, and like I had to realize on my own through Marcos, but like that was a hard realization for me. But like it happened, and the light bulb came and clicked, and so it's just it takes a special type of person to not follow what everybody's doing and like find your own way. To like I never would have known if this conversation had happened that, hey, being out here, like I learned that doing 2 shows for this hotel and this hotel and this resort, and then gigging for one night a week, you could literally,
you can make a living.
You can be, and live the life that you want.
And you can be a mom.
Yeah.
And still do, like, I've worked with so many moms.
That's insane.
I know.
See, and I worked with so many moms in LA where they're like struggling. And I'm like, do I really want to be a mom?
Right. That's the thing. That's
like, I know I want
thing.
to, but then be like, question
can I and do this at the same time? Yeah. Here, it's doable, which is like, it's so nice because, like, I think, like, for me too, I've always been like, okay, if I'm gonna be a mom, I really have to plan this out.
Right.
And
I need help. I mean,
you still do have to plan it out because, like, your body is like your job.
Right.
But it's more doable, I think, out here. And I think, I don't know, I've never lived in New York, but from what I can kind of tell, I feel like it's also probably a little bit more doable in New York as well. I just think, like, in Broadway, they kind of accept still, like, older dancers, like they do here. But, like, LA, I think, I don't know. To be honest with you, I think that's a really tough route to take.
Yeah. And it's like not bagging on LA. It's just it's a whole different experience.
It's different,
and it's a different world. It's like it's a different planet.
It's a different planet.
It's a different planet.
It's a different planet for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
and I think too. Like I went a different route too. Yeah. I'm in grad school for dance.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
still amazing.
Like a lot of people don't go to college at all, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, that was my first plan. But I think too, I kind of during COVID, I realized I was like, I want to have a retirement plan. I want to have.
You want to have that
health insurance
when you get to.
Like, I don't want to pay for my own health insurance anymore. I want my job to provide it for me,
right?
Like a normal adult,
as it should.
Right?
I mean, that's a whole different other topic.
Put a bookmark.
There's a bookmark in that one.
Put a bookmark in that
one. Talk about that one. Part 2. Right. I could talk about that all day.
All day. And so I was like, okay, I want to be a teacher, but I don't want to teach in a dance studio.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I did
Yeah.
that for a long time. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's for a lot of people. I'm not one of them. So I was like, I do want to teach though.
Look, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. Also that. Also that.
So many topics. We're going to come back with another video.
That part. And so I was like, but I do want to teach.
Yeah.
Like, I do love teaching.
Yeah.
But not children that are going to cry in the corner.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
it's
a mom.
okay. I'm also not a babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, well, if I teach in the college space, in a university space, I'll be able to actually teach people, young adults that are very passionate about dance.
Yeah.
They've grown up doing it. They want to take it further. Like, that's why they're there, right? So they're not there because their mom just dropped them off.
Right. They actually want to be there.
They want to be there. They are choosing to be there.
Yeah.
And so I, did some research and obviously like found that to be a professor in undergrad for dance, you don't have to have your doctorates. You don't have to have your PhD, which is nice. You either have to have your master's degree or enough experience to teach. You know what I mean? Enough experience in the professional world.
Okay.
So I decided to go master's route, and I am going to Cal State Long Beach, and I've done 2 summer semesters.
Okay.
And so my semesters in the summer, they're 2 months long. They're truncated into this crazy 2-month experience.
Just get her done.
It's like 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and you're just it's a
job.
And then you get home and do homework. You get home and do homework
on top of doing gigs.
Yes. No, girl, I don't do gigs. I can't.
Yeah.
I turn off.
No way.
I turn off from everything.
Yeah.
I turn off from everything. I don't. My friend and I, I always live with her when we go to school.
Yeah.
She's a Laker girl. She's the girl who like convinced me to do Kings.
Okay.
And we have to stop our jobs for 2 months, and we just school.
So it's physically like you go out there.
Yes. I moved to Long Beach every summer.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm over here thinking that you're doing it like from here. Oh my
No.
God. Okay, well, I guess that makes it easier.
Yes,
right?
Because then I have this entire fall to spring to job.
Yeah.
To work.
Yeah.
And to make money.
Yeah.
And then I just school for 2 months in Long Beach. And then I'm done. So I have 3 semesters of that. So I've done 2. I have 1 more left this summer.
Okay.
And then she's done.
Yay! We're almost there.
Yeah,
Finish
we're
line.
almost there.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. See?
Yeah.
You're killing it. Like, it's just, and it just probably feels like so long and so much work. But like, I'm just so happy for you.
I'm so happy for you. Honestly.
I really am. And it's just like, that's why I wanted to do this, is because like, I feel like there aren't stories that are told like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are young adult dancers who are like aspiring to dance professionally, but don't know what avenue to start or where to go, like, or where to get from here to here.
Yeah.
Like, so, I think like this story is just amazing. And
cute.
like, you are very inspiring for sure. If you guys aren't following her yet, she is, what is your tag?
It's
I don't know what your tag is,
@ _Alexis Evans.
And I will tag her here,
Yeah,
down underneath her beautiful soul right here in the video. But oh my gosh. Okay, and one last question.
Yeah.
What we're losing sun.
That's what we're trying to cut those quick.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to dancers wanting to go the professional route?
There's a few things. I think it's funny that you asked this, because I literally just wrote this woman asked me to write an article basically about myself.
I love it.
And it just was published today.
Oh,
she just
amazing.
published it today.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so I just actually answered this question 2 days ago, so I have some great answers.
It's fresh in there.
Right on the frontal lobe. So my advice is a few things. One, to just never give up on yourself, because you as an individual have something so different and something that you can offer that's different from everybody else, and that's just you, just your personality, right? Yeah. Everything that you've experienced up to that moment is different than everybody else's experiences, and so you can bring that to the table more than someone else can that doesn't have the same experiences as you do. So I would say, like, hone in on the person you are, because that's what people gravitate towards, like someone who is comfortable being themselves and being genuine to their personality and their experiences. And that's what people love to see. That's what people gravitate towards, and that's what people feel comfortable around, is someone who's comfortable with themselves. And then my last thing, and this is more on the business side of it.
What also is never spoken about, which I didn't know until Marco started getting
because
deep in there.
Yeah, exactly. And he helped me too with it as well, the business side of it, because this is a business and you have to think of it in a business brain. And so something that I really, really am very passionate about is that there's a million amazing dancers in the world. Amazing, right? And like, obviously, like, especially if you're in LA, you're surrounded by amazing talent. And that's the gig. That's what it is. And you have to accept it. But for me personally, I found that I was the most successful when I was the most professional person in the room. So I think if you can set yourself apart by showing up on time, coming prepared, making sure that you know exactly where you need to be, when you need to be there, knowing your choreography ahead of time, you are the most valued player on the team, the most valued dancer in the room if you do all of those things. Plus, if you can stay calm in a hectic situation, and I think that's something I learned in the NBA too, was that,
which is great,
things are changing, things are hectic. You know, you're about to go out there and do a dance that you learned last night. Good luck. Smile.
You have however many cameras on you.
1,000%. You're on national television. Smile. But if you can be the one that's calm and collected in that hectic moment, you are a valued person. So I think being able to be that professional will not only get you gigs, but it will help you keep those gigs for years to come. Like, I remember I kept my EDC gig for 6 years because I was the fastest quick changer out of my entire group of dancers. And so they always hired me back for 6 years because I changed faster than everybody else.
And that makes you stand out. It's so funny how, like, the littlest things like that, like being on time, which actually means being early, not showing up when you're supposed to start. Like, just those little things set you apart so much.
Or even like last season at the Kings, our coach would send out the choreography that we were about to learn that night. She would send it like a few hours before practice. And I know girls have jobs. I get it. Sometimes you don't have time to even look at the choreography. There was a girl on my team that was a nurse. Like, she's busy. She's a busy girl.
Busy saving lives.
She's busy saving lives, doing CPR. But I had the time to review the choreography, and so I did. Every single time I reviewed it, I went into that practice knowing the entire dance, and I felt so much better about myself going into that practice. And so then I could be a successful person and a successful teammate to my friends who didn't have time to learn it. So
I love that. I love that. That's like seriously the best advice. Seriously. That was really good. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Yes, it was amazing.
And you guys, again, follow her if you're not following her yet. And thank you guys so much for watching today. This was my first kind of podcasty conversation interview. I don't even like calling it interview. It's just like a conversation.
A chat.
It's a chat.
Yeah.
It's a chat, and I love it. And which I hear the word interview and I'm like, ugh, I don't like interviews.
Good night.
Good night. I'm going this way. If you guys liked this one, don't forget to smash that like button for us and subscribe down below for more videos like this one. Obviously, we've bookmarked so many subjects, so
we will be back.
We will be back. So stay tuned, ring that bell notification. And I hope you guys enjoyed. We will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.